We're back with
Yeah.
another Shacknews award. This one is, a little more granular than some of our more expansive, weird topics. This is the best headshot of 2021. This tends to go to a shooter game, obviously. I always try to tell people to think Gears of War headshot
Mhm.
when you're nominating, because I honestly think the Gears of War headshot is one of the most satisfying in any shooter game. So yeah, we'll kick it off. I believe Bill, you have a nomination you'd like to put out
Yeah, I'm
there.
going to nominate Headshots and Hitman 3 for a couple of reasons, and I'm glad you brought up satisfying because I
Mhm.
think that that's extremely important. And there's levels to why a headshot at Hitman 3 is satisfying, and it's not only just the sound effect, it's not only just the feedback. Something else that's important to me is that personally, I don't like it when I have to shoot something multiple times in the head. That doesn't feel overly satisfying to me personally. So like one shot, one kill in the head kind of makes sense to me. That's a value, and obviously it is a thing in Hitman 3. But the biggest thing about satisfaction when it comes to Hitman 3 headshots is that they're not free. You can walk into a crowd and shoot somebody in the head if you want to, and your entire game's going to fall apart and you're screwed and you're going to get a bad score. You're probably going to have a problem passing the mission. You might even die and fail the mission. You generally have to work and put in steps in terms of like completing objectives or putting yourself in the right scenario. And there's nothing better than getting one on one with your target somewhere secluded where no one's going to be there to help them, no one's going to be able to stop you, and getting that headshot because that doesn't come for free. It's an investment in taking the right steps, planning, discovery, um, bringing the right items, trying to get them in the right spot. So it's a lot of things have to come together to let you pull off the headshot, but that's what makes it satisfying in addition to like the mechanics of the sound and the feel.
I will add to that lightly that like getting a headshot in Hitman 3 with a sniper rifle is a grossly extravagant affair because you have to store the sniper rifle on the property, sneak it around to a place where nobody can will watch you deploy it, and then take the shot, put the sniper rifle away, and hide it again to pull that off. And I think that's like that makes it quite a that makes it quite a you have to want it type ordeal.
There are no free headshots in Hitman that have any kind of a meaning, at least.
Sure. Okay. It looks like we have two people who nominated a game here. So David or TJ, I'll have you guys fight over who gets to nominate this.
TJ, go ahead.
Resident Evil 4 headshots are an experience, and an experience that goes from the beginning of the headshot to well after the headshot. First off, will the head explode? Dependent upon the weapon, there is a better chance or a shorter chance. When you're using a pistol and the head explodes, that's a delightful surprise, and you get to move on to the next thing. When it's a shotgun, it's more of a given if you place the shot correctly, or like the rifle or the magnum. But like Resident Evil 4 goes beyond that in the fact that the Ganados have parasites in them. And so the usual like staggering walk that an enemy does when you pop that dome can be followed up by, is a worm going to be popping out or not? And that builds anticipation. When you see a Ganados continue to walk after the headshot, it builds suspense. And that suspense leads up to either that thing is dead and you can move on, or I'm going to have to do another headshot because this horrible bladed worm just came out of this dude's neck. And quite frankly, I love that experience, and it's done, and it continues to be awesome in Resident Evil VR or Resident Evil 4 VR, if not made even more visceral by the fact that you're handling the gun in your hand.
Mhm.
Your very aim directs that experience, and it makes it such an immersive,
Yeah.
gripping experience from the
No,
beginning to the end.
I'm glad you brought up immersion because I think that's a huge aspect for why VR makes people feel things, right? Like the success of being immersed in the universe you're in, but also feeling presence. And it sounds like REVR, RE4 VR gets that done perfectly. I would argue that Half-Life Alyx did that too very well last year, when you would shoot at the head of an enemy in that game. And you mentioned that the heads explode. To me, that's like a hugely important thing that makes a good head, like the best headshot in a game is like that sound, the visual, the blood that shoots out of the neck or whatever, like all that adds to that experience. It sounds like RE4 VR is a very, very valid nominee for this award.
I'm going to add kind of a cherry on top of that sundae that TJ just described. Because this is VR game, you don't have to just stick with the canned animation of traditional ports of RE4. There are times when, in the rooftop battle of the Matrix near the end, Trinity and Neo fighting the agents. The agent's about to bust the cap in Neo, and Trinity says, "Dodge this," and just shoots him right in the head. You can do that with the rifles in RE4 VR. You have that kickback because you're using it one-handed, and you just feel like the biggest badass on earth, especially as TJ said, when the Lost Plagas is squiggling and worming around, to just walk right up to him before it can slash you and just go. It really feels good. And the sound design, I mean, the sound design in RE4 has been great since RE5, but that like blood-filled balloon popping type sound is just so damn satisfying.
I remember during our Lawbreakers interview at E3 with Cliff Blazinski, I talked to him about the headshot in Gears, and he actually said audio people do not get enough credit for making those experiences that much more visceral.
He's right. Yeah.
And the things that you have to do, the things you have to do to recreate those noises is really a challenge. Like I think sound designers don't get enough credit in the video game space, and they in this category specifically, sound is a huge factor into making a good headshot. So that extra color is definitely helpful. I just want to let everyone know that Sam Chandler nominated Halo Infinite multiplayer's headshot.
Yeah, with Sam's absence, I actually wanted to speak to that one a little bit. I'm not even sure if I'll vote for it because I didn't nominate it, but Halo does have a really good headshot, and a lot of it's in the subtleties, like just the sound cue, like the tink when you kill somebody with the headshot. But I think specifically with like the sniper rifle, it is super satisfying because the thing people talk about a lot in Halo is the time to kill. You got to shoot somebody 30 times, you got to grenade them, melee them. You shoot somebody now with a sniper rifle in Halo Infinite, they're dead. No ability, no weapon.
The thing that I like more than the headshot in Halo is the sound of the shield popping. Like that's just
you get all of that in one beat when you get a headshot with the sniper, and then something else. And it's always been a Halo thing is like the way people go limp when you shoot them in the head, like their body just turns into a ragdoll.
Yeah.
And in the game like Halo, where people are jumping off of air vents, flying in vehicles, there's nothing more satisfying to like shoot somebody out of a mongoose and watch the car drive for like another 20 feet, or like drop them out of like a turret. There's a lot of very satisfying ways to pull.
I will agree with you though. Like it's almost the events that occur immediately after the headshot that make it an enjoyable headshot. Like the different scenarios that you could kill someone in Halo that just lead to hilarity, and the ragdoll physics of that game are hysterical.
One of the funnest things that occurred in Halo Infinite was when we were playing on stream, and I picked up the shock rifle for the first time. And Asif and I were walking around a rock, and I looked to the side and see some dudes on another rock across the map. I was like, I wonder if I can hit those people with this thing. And I popped them right in the dome and hit two of their friends with it. I was like, ooh.
No, and I think the new weapons in Infinite definitely like add to that enjoyment. I can't remember. It's like a weapon that like basically shoots a nail, like a giant ass nail. I can't remember.
The mangler? No, skewer.
The skewer.
Skewer's like
dude, sticking people with a skewer is fun. I love that weapon.
Like skewer headshots are very fun, and I would.
Hard to get to.
These are all good nominations. Does anyone else have a nomination?
There's something I wanted to mention, and I didn't think of it until someone said nail gun. But Deathloop has a really good headshot with the nail gun.
Yeah.
Specifically the nail gun.
That is.
Man, nail guns just make for good headshots, I think, across the board. So
Yeah, I wanted to nominate Deathloop specifically, not so much for a specific headshot, but when you get the Nexus slab that allows you to bind multiple enemies together. So where if you inflict pain on one,
Yeah.
all the ones that have been mixed with that slab take it. And when you use a sniper rifle or nail gun or something exciting on one guy, and then watching the other ones drop, get my nips hard. I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
so it's like it can be like a 4 or 5 for 1.
It's
Yeah, that's really good.
it's absurdly
Yeah.
stupid in the best way.
That's a
Yeah.
good point.
One
Like,
bullet,
there's-
5 kills.
Yeah, that's a good point though.
Yeah.
That you can there's a gameplay mechanic that can like turn that into even more enjoyment. I think that's a key differentiator.
Optimal headshots.
That game is
Yeah, like
also
you
full
could
of lots
clear a room.
of surprise headshots where I was intending to do something else and I either warped to somebody or something happened and I accidentally headshot somebody when I didn't intend to and scare myself and usually ruin the run, but it's all in good fun.
Nail gun in Deathloop is incredibly visceral as well because that's a charge weapon. So
Yeah.
you pull the trigger to charge the pressure of the shot, and you can see Colt's hand just shaking as this thing's ready to go, and then you let her rip, and then just freaking bam, they hit the floor
Yeah.
ragdoll, and it's so much in one sitting.
And it's a stealth weapon, right? Like you can't hear the nail gun when it hits someone. Unless somebody sees you, like you can just pick people off with it. It's very satisfying to use.
Quite literally the opposite of the nail gun in Quake.
Yeah.
Like it actually kills people. Its bullets are fast. Like
But
I
there's
don't
no.
hate it.
You're not wrong, man.
Is Trent Reznor involved with it though?
Honestly,
He
probably
is.
also a selling point for Deathloop
He
at this
is.
point.
The nail gun in Deathloop's actually interesting because it's one of the earliest weapons that you get. So you definitely get more flashy weapons as time goes on, but that's the one that, like, you know how you get that weapon and you're just like, I'm not letting this go because it has a real function, like the stealth, the headshot, and so it was neat how a weapon that you could kind of consider like low level in the game could like stayed with me as I was still finding new things. Like it was the thing that I wasn't taking out of my pocket.
Yeah, the
I
other
wanna
part with
nominate
that
a game here real quick, and I want to hear Chris's take on this. Back for Blood. I know that the game has other issues, but that shooting range and shooting your friends in the head is quite enjoyable. I know that not every enemy responds the same way to headshots in that game, though. But thought they had a decent headshot. Maybe not the best, but probably worth consideration here.
well,
There's
what it does,
one I hope. Oh, I'm sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
I just want to touch one last time on Deathloop. That Nexus slab also, even if you're not using a gun and you've got the people linked, if you sneak up behind one of them and you just twist their head off or their neck, watching all the rest of them go out from the invisible ghost neck snap. I don't know if that counts as a headshot because it's not really a bullet, but
It's not, but it's definitely no. I think your point about the gameplay mechanic is sound and it applies to a headshot.
Sure.
Okay, I think we got enough nominees. Unless Ozzy has one.
Well, there's one I hope we're going to get to talk about next year if it goes 1.0. But I'm already seeing some impressive headshots in Splitgate. Like just the potential for trick shots with portals, and the fact that you can actually do multiple headshots with the railgun. Really cool stuff. And I actually hope we get to see more of that next year.
Yeah,
I have pulled that railgun shot off before.
That railgun shot where you have two people running at you and you shoot through the first one. Yes.
I've seen people get triple headshots.
Yeah,
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Or if you've
done that,
if you snipe somebody through their own portal, but you can't actually see through it because if it's not yours, you can't see through it. So it's just a void, and you just send a bullet through, and you get somebody. That's also very good.
That's the best. I've done that a lot with the railgun as well.
Mm-hmm.
No, but that is the best feeling to be like just firing blind and still get the kill.
I actually enjoy playing SWAT in that game. And that's basically the whole meta of that is headshots. And I do agree that Splitgate. I think in this kind of category, Ozzy, I don't know if you necessarily had to. I don't know what our rules are about.
Well, no, but like we'll definitely be bringing it up again next year.
Let's bring it up again next year. I feel like Splitgate's one of those games where it's not ready for a Shacknews Awards considerations.
It's
I
not
don't think
ready.
I don't think it's fair to really judge this game yet. It's not out yet. They just got a ton of funding a couple of months ago. Hopefully they can put some work into it before the season 1 really drops and all that stuff.
Yeah, it needs work, but that's what early access is for, you know?
Yeah. That core gameplay loop is good. I was very into that game for a while. And Donovan, you're right. I love that when you have a portal and they have a portal and you shoot through your portal, then their portal, and you get a headshot. Yeah, that's super satisfying. I would say it's more satisfying than the Halo headshot. But yeah,
could be.
Let's vote. What do you say?
Yeah.
David, what you got?
Man, I gotta say, Chris and Bill made fantastic cases for Deathloop and Hitman 3, respectively. Especially like Bill, I love the Hitman series, and I love that not only it's no headshot free, no kills in that game are free, really. And I love that everything is earned. But in the past couple of years, between Half-Life Alyx, Super Hot VR, which almost killed me, and Resident Evil 4 VR, there's just nothing like being able to pull off these headshots in the game, especially with the freedom that RE4 VR gives you to do headshots. And like I mentioned in another category, the bolt action rifle to me is part of that. It's part of the visceral feel to actually have to like crank back on it and load another shot. I got to go with RE4 VR.
Donovan.
I'm really torn between Hitman and Deathloop. But I think I'll lean Hitman just because, and it's something we had also talked about off camera, Bill, where like there's a satisfaction in Hitman before you even pull the trigger. Like once you've solved the puzzle and you're like, well, I've got you now. Like you got them dead to rights. Before you even shoot them, you're like smiling. And for that, I've got to go Hitman.
Greg.
The Resident Evil 4 headshot felt good in the GameCube version, and it probably feels even better in VR using it point blank with a rifle. So I'm gonna, like David said, and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna vote for that.
TJ.
It's got to be RE4 VR. Like, it's that Lost Pog is coming out is reason to reach for your shotgun and do the Nick Frost gif. Shame.
Mm-hmm. Ozzy.
I gotta say, Crap sold me on Deathloop. Like the idea that you can actually like plug someone in the head and actually have a bunch of other people fall like dominoes. That sounds cool.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Bill, Hitman.
Yeah, I'm going Hitman.
Blake.
Man, I like the idea of shooting one person in the head and several other heads exploding in unison with them. That's definitely, I like a good deal, and I know I won when I see one. And
Denny, did I skip you because you were off cam for a second? Is that what happened?
Yeah, my camera went out.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Deathloop. I like the 5 for the price of 1 deal. Like that's just economics, baby.
Okay, so right now I may have screwed up here. David, you're on RE4.
Correct.
TJ, you're on RE4. Donovan, you're on RE4.
Donovan's on Deathloop. Greg voted. Greg voted RE4. Yeah.
Okay, and then Bill and you aren't. So Deathloop was Blake. Okay, sorry, I had 2 written down. Wait, Denny, who are you voting for?
Man, I'm conflicted because I love RE4 headshots, so I can only imagine them being better in VR. Mm-hmm. But I actually played Deathloop, and the headshots are also satisfying there. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna give it to Deathloop because I actually did get to experience it, and it's satisfying. So I'm gonna go with that one.
Chris, you're on Deathloop, right?
That is correct.
Well.
Who's the decider?
Look who gets to pick the winner. RE4 is a classic.
Is it the guy with the wig?
Honestly, RE4, the best Resident Evil game ever. I know RE2, a lot of people. I in my mind,
RE4 is like, even people who don't like classic RE games tend to love RE4. So I can see
it has a very special place in my heart. Yeah. So special that I really, really dislike having to log into Facebook to play it. And for that reason,
That's fair.
I'm
That's
gonna
fair.
have to say Arcane making a game, even though they're owned by Microsoft, releasing it on PlayStation. You see what I'm saying here about openness?
We already gave PlayStation. We already gave
Yeah.
a Microsoft award to PlayStation. So
You see what I'm saying about the openness here? But also just Chris's point about, that mechanic is truly unique. Like being able to get 5 headshots for the price of 1. The nail gun actually being good in that game and being fun. Like the weapon design in Arcane games is
There's something
very
about a good nail gun, which Quake players would know nothing about.
Yeah, we know nothing about that in the Quake universe.
It
I
just makes
stuck
you
with
appreciate
my-
the Deathloop one even more. Right?
I stuck with my nomination, but I was very sad that I didn't remember Deathloop until Chris brought it up. So
Me too. No, me too.
And look, all these are good headshots. And I have a feeling we're going to be talking about a lot of these games again in other categories. So, yeah, I'm voting for Deathloop.
Nice.
Because Arcane deserves some love. They get overlooked sometimes. I don't know if you played the Prey game that they made. Very good. Obviously, the Dishonored games are great. But yeah, I think Deathloop... Chris, you got me wanting to go back and play more of that before I finalize my top 10 list. So, congratulations on that nomination. Congratulations to Arcane and Bethesda and Microsoft. You, Deathloop, have won our best headshot of 2021.